Welcome to day 7 of our 40 days of prayer to kick off 2021. Yesterday in Washington, D.C., something incredible happened. Protesters stormed the Capitol building to put a stop to the proceedings of the Senate, where they were certifying the election results that will put Joe Biden in the White House later this month. Whether or not you agree with the results of the elections or even like the results of the election is a separate issue. But when those images came across our news feeds of someone carrying a Confederate flag through the Capitol building, or the gallows that were constructed by some protesters outside from which a noose was hanging down, those images disturbed us and discouraged us because they violated a sense of the sacredness of these institutions of our government. So when the Senate reconvened later, they said that the rule of law would be upheld, the Constitution would be upheld, nothing would stop them from finishing their work at hand, and they would continue. I think about our reading from Ezra 7, where Ezra became an expert in God's law, and he's sent by King Artaxerxes from Persia back to Jerusalem to teach the people the law of God. It was a time when God was using those kings of Persia to really promote the people of God. And so Artaxerxes actually says this. He says, "Whoever will not obey the law of your God and the law of the king, let judgment be strictly executed on him, whether for death or for banishment or for confiscation of his goods or for imprisonment." Violating the law of God was something that was considered serious. It was sacred. But I wonder for us, when we see a violation of God's law, whether it's in our personal lives or in our community, do we feel that same sense of discouragement because something has been violated, something has been lost, something sacred has been torn down? If we don't, maybe it's because we're distant from God's law, we're distant from God's heart, and we need to pray that God would restore our love for His law, our regard for His law, our love for His holiness and His goodness. We need to have that sense of sacredness restored to us so that we would be disturbed when there is sin in our lives or in our communities. Don't forget to pray for 2 other people, pray for our church, and pray for our nation, and I'll see you tomorrow.